everyone, Cecihoney here with another Pixelart tutorial, and this time we will be talking about backgrounds. A few people have actually asked for this. From top of my head, get Juliano de Oliveira from Bit Kingdom, and Josué. Josué is a close friend. He goes by Cavaleiro do Lápis or Pencil Knight in social media. And well, the main thing about what I do here with settings and other things I do with our tutorials is mostly to show you the foundations of drawing, but straight out in Pixelart, because you need the drawing foundations to do Pixelart. So light, shadows, we've covered a little bit of shape, proportions, and now for settings, the main core is perspective. So before we go into applying shadows and colors to the setting, we will go with the basic the basic perspective of a setting, because that's what makes things feel three-dimensional. That's what gives you an idea that things are solid and that things have depth, especially depth and volume within a scene composition. So yeah, it's not just, of course, for backgrounds. Backgrounds is a term we use a lot in game dev. But think of any kind of scenery which doesn't use tiles you want, be it for some background layer, or you can use it for the general area of your game or for a cutscene or whatever. So the main point here is to draw the horizon line. Now what's the horizon line? The horizon line is the line that divides heaven and earth, more or less. Sure, this earth can be like the ground level, can be like the sea and the sky, or something like that. It doesn't count like buildings or mountains or anything that stays above the ground. So if your setting background has a lot of buildings, you gotta figure out where would the ground be behind those buildings. So for the time being, for what we will do here, we'll do a house in a forest. And the second point we need to set here is the what call here escape point, or point of depth. This is what, like, where everything comes from in setting. It's usually in the middle of the horizon line, and once you do that, everything, every line from objects, counters, etc., that lines up with the depth of view will come from this. So I have this here, here, and we can like build something like a block here. And if we do this, we will notice we can pull this over here like that. We need like so. Yeah, I will undo everything in here. Maybe leave that line, but no. So yeah, we can also have two escape points, like so. And what this will do is that, like, when we have something that is in a middle view, and we kind of have like 2 points of depth, they cross here, and you kind of have like a building or something, and it will go like here and here, and you can so have a, say, imagine this is a building in a crossroad over a street, so you can have like this. And once you erase everything, you'll see that this you could have like the walkways over here, and surely they have to come from here. And yeah, so this is the secret. This is more or less how you use the escape points and everything. So I will erase everything from the top here and from the bottom, and we will start with our house in the forest. So to start with, we have our point of depth. Again, it doesn't need to sit straight to the center of the image. If you have like two escape points, it can come from. But we'll start simple, and we will do start simple. No, we'll go for this really. Let me pick the blue again, and over here. So yeah, and from over here we will have. So this will be our house, our main cut for the house. And we will need some lines for the roof of the house. And for something to line up. Yeah. So this is kind of like our little house in the woods. And yeah, we can bring this over the top here and have like so. Let me see if this lines up. Okay, now it lines up better. So you see, this is the basis of our house. We can set up other lines to measure things like I want a tree over here. So I need to use this to make sure that this tree is larger than background trees. Say there's a background tree over here and another over here and so on. So now we will go to make some lines and clean this up. We're not finish it, like as I said, we're not do the finish for this in this setting, setup. For now, we will just build the basic setting, like the wireframes of everything, and later we will color the elements, and we will move on to a more complete and complex version of this. So here we have this portion of the house. I actually use this to as you can see, I'm not using the construction lines for everything in the house because I kinda know now more or less how certain things fit in there. Like I know that if I place a door here, it will connect over this, so I kinda know that this is the correct measurement. And same like this, like I can go out here and place this as a wooden thing. And over here we will build some stairs, and they also follow kind of like the shape and so on. It's like this, so you can quite see. I will of course do some corrections over, and this will be like a big house in the woods. So we'll finish this background in the next tutorial, but I want it to be as clean as possible for the time being, mostly because it will help us. The cleaner it is, the better it will be to work this out. I will probably color the outline, and I will show you guys some cool and easy way to color the outline differently from what I usually do, where I kind of draw everything. There is an easier way, but I use it to do it more in Photoshop than, say, in Pixelart. But yeah, that's about it. So I won't do much detail now. This is not the point here. The point here is more or less so you can quite see how the whole perspective thing works. But that's about as much as we have here. So we got the house. Now we just noticed that my roof is screwed, and that's why I said the points are important. So let's go back to our below layer. And while the rooftop is epicenter is here, and that connection is good, I need to start the roof from that bottom connection. It's like here. Oops, but not the. Sometimes layers are confusing, so be careful. If you use any software which has layers, you probably know that as much as they are useful, they can be tricky, especially when you have too many of them. This is not the case, but even with 2 layers, things can get hairy, so yeah. Well, done with the house, and that's about it. That's how you make the house feel more three-dimensional, and as you can see, it does. It has a lot of depth to it. Surely you can have those 2 points outside your drawing, so you need to extend your artwork, like paint the square bit green and make a larger canvas and place the points further. This is not what I did here, clearly, but it can be done. And let me do this here. So yeah. Now for some trees, and that's an interesting point. What I will do here is I will add some, since I have outlined it, that will be a tree here. I will make the trunk. It's the easiest part, it's the cool part about doing trees, is going for the trunk. And some roots. And now, how you might ask, how am I doing this tree? Like, well, I usually use references for things I've never done before. I don't know how to draw, or when like if you had like, oh, you need to do a specific tree like pine tree or uh, uh, palm tree or something like that. I probably need reference, and you need reference too if you're going for something specific. But if not, you can, and if you have like enough reference in your mind, that's a thing. But if you don't, if you're like starting out, use references for anything that, well, that has references for, like if you're doing something totally new, that you can't find references for, you will have to go with what you have. That's more complicated. Let's say it is complicated in this case. You don't have much fun. But if you can, don't be shy to use references. That's one thing. Me and anyone who understands anything about art and experience will tell you. My manga teacher used it to say I was too avoidant of using references, mostly because I thought I knew how to draw, and that's a thing that happens with a lot of people. When we're starting, we either think we know how to draw everything, or we believe that the true artist should draw everything from their mind. And no, that's not really. The good artists started using references, and when something's new to them, they still go there and use a reference. I had this client where he asked me for a lot of items, like for inventory stuff, and some of the inventory included fish. And well, I don't know how every kind of fish, especially like certain kinds he listed, like tuna or whatever, and I had to kind of search and see how were the colors and the shapes, the actual stuff for these kinds of fish. So looking over here, we have like our basic setting. Let's put a handle in this door, and I will turn on the background, turn off the background layer. So yeah, we see here that we have a lot of depth. We can see that the further trees are smaller, the further bushes are smaller. We can even have a larger bush over here. I will make this bush better later, I promise. And here we can kind of have like a small road circling the house. It doesn't need to be a super road, like it's a house of someone who clearly doesn't want to receive many visits, so the road kind of goes around the house. It's kind of like those witch houses in the middle of the forest. I promise there will be more detail in the upcoming video, like the house will be color painted wherever, but I don't want to make my tutorial videos too long, and I rather uh, drive you through topics rather than a large course like everything about backgrounds and do a 1 or 2 hour video for it. It doesn't kind of work. But here you go, it's a house tutorial, a background tutorial based on a house. And as you can see, I even went for some grass here, like the way we do grass is mostly by showing that the grass is not just plain ground around things, it has some depth. Now you see the house seems more like it's built inside the grass and not over it. Once the line art is colored, everything will look smoother too, will look much better. But that's about it for now. That's our little house, and it kind of works. And hopefully to look much better, I will polish like the trees and everything, but we will talk a bit about that later. So thank you for watching. Again, next tutorial video will be how we finish this up, how we add some wooden texture to the house, maybe some different texture to the roof, like maybe it's made of straw or something, the texture of the leaves, the texture to the trees, to tree trunks, and so on. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you all for all the support. Bye bye.